Right, so hopefully you've had a good practice round hammering on them fifths and the pentatonic. And importantly, if you haven't, I'd advise you to practice them really slowly as well. You know, coordinating when to take one finger off and when to put the next one on with minimal background noise. But now that you're comfortable with that, all that's left to do is to add the tap. There's once you're already confident hammering on them fifths, there's not much more to do other than middle finger again, as I've said, and you're going to do that fifth, but then you're gonna add a tap, middle finger 12th fret on the G string, and you're gonna, that's the first part, so all straight 8th notes, and then start again, so the 5th again, and then this time you're going to tap 2 frets high on the 14th fret on the G string. And then the final bit, 2 frets higher again, 16th fret, the G string, so you've got, and then back down. I advise you, now that if you practice that bit and get really confident playing that one position, you should be fine with the rest of it, so maybe have a little play around with that first. Get really used to that, and then the next bit is just basically moving down to the A string. So you've got the D there, the 5th fret. And all the frets are exactly the same, they're just on the A and the D string this time. So you've got middle finger there on the 12th fret of the D, 14th fret of the D, 16th, 14th, so you got there. And those two positions, if you like, repeat twice. So slowly it's now you notice that I actually made a little mistake there, which is why it's actually very important you're going to be focusing on your tapping hand, because that's the bit where you maybe will struggle at first to hit the right string or the right fret. So again, hopefully you're very confident with the independence of this hand and it sort of takes care of itself, and you can just concentrate on moving the tapping hand up those frets and back down those frets. After those bits have repeated twice, the next one is back to the A string. So you've got C there, 3rd fret, and then 2nd finger hammer on onto the 5th fret, the G on the D string. And you're just going to do a middle finger tap on the 12th fret. So this time you're only using 2 separate frets for the tap. You're going, so you're doing it 2 times in a row. Again, straight 8ths as before. And then two times on there, and then hold that for a little bit longer, so it's, and then move it up 2 frets to the D, 5th fret on the A string. So you've got a middle finger tap on the 16th fret of the D string, and then 17th fret of the D string. Exactly the same rhythm as the first part of that section. Altogether, that's the first part of that intro that I showed you with the fretting hand hammer-ons and taps. The only thing left to add is the picking hand slide, which again demonstrates why it's very important to focus on the tapping hand. Because this is doing a bit of more movement than you'd perhaps be used to, so you need to really concentrate on that. So you're going to do a hammer on from nowhere, first finger on the D string, the 5th fret, and then hammer on, 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the D string. This demonstrates why it's quite useful to practice those pentatonics hammering on, because this is essentially exactly the same. And then you're going to do another one. Use that middle finger. The 3rd note in the sequence is a tap on the 12th fret, and you're just going to slide up 2 frets to the 14th fret and back down. So it's very important to get enough power on that tap to keep the volume consistent. And then you've got, now you've just got, once you slide back down to the 12th fret, it's hammering, it's pulling off onto this 2nd finger. These haven't moved at all. So you've got the 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and then pulling off onto the 5th fret of the D string. And then you move the 2nd finger, fret in hand, and do a hammer on from nowhere on the 7th fret of the A string, the E. So the beginning of that bit should sound like. Maybe it's a good idea for you to practice that bit first before we do the next couple of beats in the sequence. So now we're going to do sextuplet rhythm again, which hopefully you've picked up in the last tapping lesson. And there's going to be a pull off to an open string this time. So you've got the middle finger tap on the 14th fret of the A string, pulling off to the 7th fret of the A string. So this is the same as before again. And then that one pulls off to the 1st finger on the 5th fret. But now this one's going to also pull off to the open string. And you're going to come back up doing hammer-ons, so it should sound like. That only repeats once, but it's probably a very good idea to practice that a little bit in isolation. And get really used to doing that consistently and evenly in a sextuplet rhythm. And all you've got left on the last beat is going to be the middle finger tap on the E string, 15th fret. So it'll be, altogether that bar should sound. And that'll just come at the end of the previous bit. There was an extra bit that you heard in the intro lick after that, but that was probably a little bit advanced for level 5. It's easy just to start with that little slide what I showed you there, and in the next level tapping lesson we'll cover some even more advanced techniques and can get you improving even more. So practice that, practice it slowly, maybe even practice it in a clean sound to really focus on the power and consistency of volume. And once you've got the hang of that, you can move on to some even more advanced bits, such as the last bar of the lick. Cheers.